Luck and risk are like two sides of the same coin. They are closely connected, and both remind us that not everything in life is controlled by effort alone. No matter how hard we try, outcomes are always influenced by forces beyond our control. There's a powerful idea that helps explain this. Nothing is ever as good as it seems, and nothing is ever as bad as it seems. This becomes very important when we judge success, both our own and that of others. Take the story of Bill Gates. He attended one of the very few schools in the world at the time that had access to a computer. In the late 1960s, this was incredibly rare. His school had the foresight and resources to introduce students to computers long before most universities even had them. At just 13 years old, Gates became deeply obsessed with computers. Alongside his friend Paul Allen, he spent countless hours experimenting, learning, and building skills that would later shape the future. Their access to this technology gave them a massive head start, something that only a tiny fraction of students in the world had. If you think about it, millions of students existed at that time, but only a few hundred had access to such an opportunity. Gates himself later admitted that without that school, there might have been no Microsoft. His intelligence and hard work were undeniable, but luck played a huge role in putting him in the right place at the right time. Now consider another story, one that shows the other side of the same coin. Gates had a close friend named Kent Evans. He was just as talented, just as ambitious, and equally passionate about computers. In many ways, he could have been a co-founder of Microsoft, but life took a different turn. Kent Evans tragically died in a mountaineering accident before finishing school. His potential never had the chance to unfold. This wasn't a matter of effort or intelligence, it was simply risk. These two stories show something powerful. Luck and risk are always present, quietly shaping outcomes in ways we often overlook. You can't believe in one without acknowledging the other. The world is too complex, with too many moving parts, for success to depend entirely on personal effort. For every success story we admire, there may be another equally talented person who didn't get the same outcome, but we rarely hear about them. When we judge success, we often ignore luck because it's difficult to measure, and when we judge failure, we often ignore risk because it makes things complicated. It's easier to believe that success comes purely from hard work and failure comes purely from bad decisions, but reality is rarely that. Simply even experts admit this uncertainty. When asked what we don't fully understand about investing, one economist answered, "The exact role of luck in success." We all know luck plays a part, but because it's hard to quantify, we often pretend it doesn't exist. This creates a bias. When others succeed, we hesitate to say luck was involved because it can sound disrespectful. And when we succeed, we prefer to believe it was entirely our own doing. At the same time, when we fail, we tend to blame circumstances rather than decisions. Truth is, both success and failure are influenced by a mix of skill, luck, and risk. Take investing as an example. If someone invests in a stock and it performs poorly, was it a bad decision or bad luck? Maybe the investment had a high chance of success, but things didn't go as expected. It's often impossible to know for sure. In real life, we prefer simple stories. We like clear cause and effect explanations, even when they are misleading. We assume success means good decisions, and failure means bad decisions, but that's not always true. This becomes dangerous when we try to learn from others. We often look at successful people and think, do what they did, but we forget that luck may have played a major role in their outcomes. At the same time, we look at failures and think, avoid what they did, without considering the role of risk. History is full of examples where the line between success and failure incredibly thin. Some people succeed by taking bold risks that could easily have gone wrong. Others fail despite making reasonable decisions. Difference between being seen as bold or reckless often depends on the outcome, and that outcome can be influenced by luck. This makes learning about money extremely challenging. We want clear rules and guaranteed strategies, but the reality is much more uncertain. So, what can we do? First, be careful about who you admire and who you criticize. Don't assume that success is entirely earned, or that failure is entirely deserved. Second, focus less on individual success stories and more on general patterns. Extreme examples like billionaires or massive failures are often shaped by unique circumstances that are hard to replicate. Instead, look for common behaviors and habits that apply to many people. These patterns are more reliable and more useful at the end of the day. Remember this: success can make you overconfident, and failure can make you too harsh on yourself. When things go well, don't assume it's all because of you. And when things go wrong, don't assume it's all your fault. Luck and risk are always present, working quietly in the background, and once you understand that, you begin to see money and life very differently now. Let's move on to the stories of two men who push their luck.